is eating a Kit Kat and peeling it Kardashian? I need to know.
No. There's a video of, I don't know which Kardashian because I don't follow them, and they pretty much are all the same to me. But there's a video of one of them like eating a Kit Kat, but she doesn't just like, break the four pieces off and, eat them like normal people. She like breaks it in a sense that like she like separates the wafer, like the layers of the wafer on the inside in like a really weird, like she breaks it and then like will separate it. It's really weird. You can Google it. There's a video. It's very, very strange. And then
The
everybody was like, oh, I'm gonna start eating Kit Kats like this because it's like a fashionable way to eat It's a Kit Kat. There's nothing fashionable about eating a Kit Kat. You just eat it. Like, I don't understand.
Look, this got to sound fucked up, but just put it in your mouth. just grab the Kit Kat, put it in your mouth, and that's it.
Apparently, I'm sacrilegious because you know how they're like the twos that you can get, and then you get the 4-pack. I'll just open it up and I won't break them apart. I'll just eat them like that. And apparently, that's sacrilegious to do so. You're supposed to break them apart. I'm like, why?
All that extra work for nothing. Look, it's all going to the same spot, your mouth, and then from your mouth, your throat to your belly, and it's like it's all going to come out the same end unless you got a bag.
I remember there's a scene in the movie. Was it called Toys or something? LL Cool J was in it, and Robin Williams and Joan Cusack. And I remember LL Cool J is in his military gear. And he's like sitting at the table and he has on his plate, they're all having dinner. And he's, one of the people at the table is like, there's like the mashed potatoes, the meat, whatever. And he's just like piling it all in at the same time and mixing it all together. And no. My peas will not be encroaching upon my mashed potatoes and my chicken. Everybody has to have a specific place and everything. And he was like very rigid about this. And I'm just like, it all goes in the same place.
It all goes in the same spot and it'll come out the same hole.
Although, I will say this, when I was a little girl, my mom was a nurse. And when I was a little girl, I had an argument with her because I didn't want to eat. I forget what it was that she had made for dinner, but I didn't want to eat it. But I was going to sit there and drink my glass of milk. And she said, how can you drink milk if you say that you're full and you can't eat your food? And I said, because all my food parking spaces were already taken up, my drink ones weren't.
Oh my God, I'm glad my daughter didn't hear that.
And that's how I justified being able to drink my milk as opposed to eating. It was probably fish because I'm not like a huge fan of fish, and my mom's from Southern Italy, so like it's a lot of fish in the diet. And I'm not like a huge fan of fish, but it was probably like a fish fillet or something that I did not want to eat. But I was just like, oh no, I'm too filled, but I'll drink. My drink parking spaces were still open.
Yes.
I love that turn of phrase. That's no wonder you're right. Wait,
I was the weird creative kid, but now I've actually made a career out of it. So, of being the weird kid.
Isn't that the goal for all weird kids, really? Like, how do I take my weirdness and just make it work?
Well, you're a musician.
Weird. Y'all call it weird. I call it unique, different, my awesomeness, my pizzazz.
I just gotta know real quick though. Let's I want to flip back to the questionnaire. Well, the pre-show one anyways, because I mean we're all in the questionnaire. I hope y'all are enjoying the show. You said you're not really reading anything as far as the newer books. You're obviously writing newer books because there's things that by the time, like when this episode drops, you're not going to even be able to pick up X23 because it don't take that long. I take a while. I don't take that long. But what's got it to where you aren't reading anything as far as the newer shit coming out?
So the new stuff I've been trying to keep up with the Jed McKay Moon Knight. I just got Marvel Unlimited, but we have one tablet between the two of us, and my husband's been hogging it, reading all the X-Men stuff. So I haven't really been reading a lot of new stuff lately. I have one of the really old, it's not Essentials. It might be Essentials actually, of the old Thors. So the Thors from like the 60s and stuff. And they're really kind of fun to read because there's so many, I mean, like every 5 seconds somebody's talking about how Jane Foster is just a girl and silly little girl and all this other stuff. I'm like, wow, the like rampant misogyny, but that's okay. But I mean, I look at it through the 2022 lens versus the 1961 lens. But there's like interesting things about how like even Thor doesn't know that Tony Stark is Iron Man, and there's this like whole like line about how the Avengers respect each other's privacy and blah 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 blah. And then like the next page, Jan is calling Hank by his real name in front of everybody. So apparently it's not that important to respect people's privacy. So
That's
See, I like that.
lovely. Is there nothing you find like, especially you writing the Deadliest Bouquet? Is there anything you find as far as from any of the other publishers, not the big two, that attracts your attention?
what am I reading? I'm going through. I'm trying to like go through what's at my bedside table right now. Oh, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Saturday morning cartoon version. Eric Burnham's writing that. I'm reading that. My husband grabbed the first copy the second I came home with it. Read The Last Ronin.
Shout out to Mike Ruth, who did a couple of the covers for that last Ronin. Right, you can check his interview on the past
Golden
questionnaire.
Rage with Image. Old Dog, which is also an Image book. Trying to think. That's probably like the most current stuff that I'm reading. What I tend to do is like I'll go to the comic shop and I'll just sort of browse and see what sort of catches my eye. And 9 times out of 10, it's not the singles, it's not the floppies, it's the trades that I'll grab. But in terms of like, but if I have people that are friends of mine that are putting out a series, I will try and get the floppies to obviously support and stuff, because it is important to I mean, the direct market is kind of a whirlwind in and of itself, but it is important to buy the monthly books, because especially if it's an ongoing, then you get the sales numbers. The day after FOC, the day after your final order cutoff, you get the sales numbers. You get that email, and you're always like really hoping for these big numbers, and then you get a number, and you're just like, oh. Especially if they put the number from last month, because there's always a drop off. So you're like, oh, last month wasn't so bad, and then like this was last month, and this is this month. And
Now,
then
what do
you
you
just kind
think
of
about
like,
that? What do you think about that, especially with as far as the ongoing series? Because I've come to the conclusion that a lot of, especially with some of the posts I've seen by some creators and just talking to several different creators, that a lot of people buy comics, but they don't even fucking read them. You know what I mean? Right, and that causes
well, I mean,
well, that causes an issue in regards to what you said, to where, oh, it's issue 1. I'll grab that. I don't want shit else.
yeah. Well, that's the thing. Okay, so like everybody's gonna grab an issue 1. These numbers aren't they're public record. I mean, you can go to comicron.com and look at monthly numbers.
Sure.
But like you look at an issue 1, and an issue 1, let's say, of an indie book sells 12,000-15,000 copies. That's a good run for a first issue. But your issue 2 is going to be half that or less. I mean, you sell 15,000 copies of a number 1. Your issue 2 is going to be 5,000 to 7,000 copies, unless you're on like a Batman or a Spider-Man or something like that, or unless you're a huge name. You know, so I always joke and say, like, I'm kind of like middle management in terms of, you know, where I am on sort of like the hierarchy. You know, I'm not, you know, but I'm known enough that people pick up my work or they'll seek it out. So you look at, you know, 15,000 copies for issue 1, great. But issue 2 is going to be 5,000, 6,000. And then issue 3 is going to be 3,000, 4,000. You know, you want to make sure that you stay above 2,000 issues no matter what. Like, even if it's, you know, your last issue, you want to make sure that you're about above 2,000 just in general. But that's tough for a lot of indie comics. And unless you're with a bigger publisher, like Image being Image, you know, one of the great things with Image is that they have a huge reach. One of the things that I noticed when we did the Kickstarter was we had 850 backers on the Kickstarter, which is, to me, I thought that was great. I know there are Kickstarters with thousands of backers and stuff, but for us, we had 850 backers, and I'm like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
But then you go and you get distribution through Image. One of the things that I noticed is that a lot of the backers of the Kickstarter that just backed at the digital only level were international, because the shipping costs are just stupid expensive, just like ridiculous. And it's cost prohibitive to buy the book and then pay the shipping costs. So Image, because of its vast distribution internationally, it gives them the opportunity to say, oh, I want physical copy of the book. I can go to my comic shop in London, in Tokyo, in Paris, wherever, and they'll have it at my comic shop. Whereas me having to mail the book to London, Tokyo, or Paris is very cost prohibitive. So having that distribution, is, you know, through Image or through another publisher is important. Even if the numbers aren't enormous, it's still important enough to know that it's getting out into households, for lack of a better term, that I couldn't reach just through the Kickstarter.
Can I just say real quick, as far as to come back to you working with Image, you've worked with Marvel, you've worked with DC, and you've worked with a lot of different publishers. Is there any publisher that you haven't worked with that you would like a chance to? Like, is there somebody you look at, and even if it's for a specific property that they have or something, you're like, I want that.
Oh, I wanna work with IDW. I want to work with. I mean, I want to write Transformers. I would love to write a Transformers story. They were doing at one point they were doing, I think it was called Galaxies, where they were doing sort of like anthology stories. They were shorts, and I pitched for a couple of those. I would love to get some stuff with TKO. I would love to get some stuff with AWA. I haven't worked with Vault yet. You know, I mean, I'm pretty open to working with anybody on anything, because even if it's a genre that I've never written in, I like the challenge. I like being able to say, okay, let's think about things in a different way. I mean, there is David Bowie always said, like, you know, if you're in your comfort zone, you're not growing as a creator, as an artist. And I think that that's true. And, you know, your comfort zone is great, because if you're banging out all this work, you're paying your bills, and that's good for you. I mean, everybody's got to eat. But as an artist and a creator, going even half a step outside of that helps to flex your muscles, helps to sort of keep you limber. You know what I mean? And helps to sort of keep your mind thinking in different ways. I do a lot of editing. I also do some lettering, and it's using my brain in a different way. So if I'm writing a script and I get writer's block, I will turn around and say, all right, well, let me go and edit that script that I'm supposed to be working on, or let me go letter a few pages. because what it does is it makes my brain, that one part of my brain, the writer part, shut off and then focus on the lettering. It's still creative, it's just a different part of the brain. And then this way, that writer part can sort of get, a little time to rest. And instead of like tying itself in knots because I can't, hit the mark that I want to hit, gives itself a rest. And then I can come back to it and be like, oh, okay, now it's like you have fresh eyes on it. But I think that, I think coming out of I may or may not be working on a project. I got tapped to work on a project with a game developer. And I'm like, oh, it's very interesting what they are looking for me to do. I don't know if I can do it, but if you think about your skill sets and there's more of a universality to skill sets than I think people think. I think that some people think I can do this and that's what I can do versus I can do this, that's what I can do, but you can apply that to other things. And I think sometimes it takes outside people to recognize that in yourself. So if somebody from a game developer comes to me and says, oh, I'd like you to write something for a game, it's like, oh, I've never written a game before. I don't know if I know how to do that. No, but you know how to tell a story. You know how to pace a story. You know how to create character conflict. You know how to create a world. That's all part of it. The game development part might be just whether the program you're writing it in, whether you're writing it in Word or Excel or Final Draft or whatever. That's the little detail that doesn't matter so much. It's the skill set that you basically have is storytelling, and if you can do that, then that is applicable to other things. So yeah, I'd love to change it up and write all different kinds of things. If people want to hire me for it, I'm there.
I'm assuming you can't say anything as far as what you were just speaking on, as far as the thing you were presented to do. Like, no, I can't say shit. I can't say a damn thing.
No, I can't say anything about the game, but but it's an example. And I'm not the only, comic writer who's been tapped to do things like for games and stuff like that. There's a ton of people who do it all the time. But the idea of doing something that is different and makes you a little uncomfortable, it's nerve-wracking and it's scary, but it also, I think, is very fulfilling in terms of giving you the opportunity to even extend yourself even more. And I think that's important. I think as a creator, as an artist, as any type of person who does anything, who creates or I don't want to say content because that just makes everything sound commercial. Because a lot of the stuff we do for ourselves. It is a labor of love kind of thing. But I think that anybody who creates, going just half a step outside your comfort zone and even a full step outside of your comfort zone is going to be better for you as an artist than just staying where you're comfortable.
Can I
because you're not going to grow.
No, that's a phenomenal answer. I really do like that. Maybe that's your superpower, the fact that you've been able to acknowledge that. You know what I mean? But can I say, and this is proof that you got the questionnaire way before your interview was
off of piss and vinegar. That's your superpower.
Well, fair enough. But I'm curious because I have since rephrased that question because I figured out that it comes across like I'm asking what your superpower is. Some of the answers we got to it in that manner are fucking hilarious. Check out Stephen Grant's interview for some funny shit.
Oh my God.
I see. Note that we both note the same one because it was that damn funny. All right. But I'm curious, if you could choose a superpower to have, Erica, what would you go with?
It'd be one of two. It'd be one of two things. It would either be, and I've gotten this question before, and it's usually telekinesis because I'm lazy, or invisibility so I can play pranks on my husband.
See, but can I say that's why I tried to put it on the pre-show questionnaire, because I know motherfuckers have been asked that 1,000 times, and I was just trying to be able to dig into it at a deeper level. But my dumb ass worded it really, really improperly. Because whatever, at least you
I
use
have really
chopsticks.
cold hands. Matt Miner, the writer Matt Miner and editor, I always have cold hands because I have bad circulation. And so Matt Miner, anytime he shakes my hands and my hands are ice cold, he always says, your superpower is you can hold ice cream in your hand and it won't melt.
Yeah.
So that's my superpower. I can hold ice cream in my hand and it won't melt because my hands are always so cold. There you go.
That
Matt
Hey,
Miner.
I have a superpower where my hands are always hot. I work in the RV industry, and I was outside pulling these giant metal ass frozen chassis. All right, that's the frame for the RV. My
I know
hands
what a
are
chassis is.
okay. Well, my hands are soaking wet. And it's like ice outside, but you just see nothing but steam. I pull the gloves off, shake my boss's hands. He's like, your hands are really warm. Aren't you outside? And I was like, yeah. It's just that my hands are always hot. Like, no matter what's going on, my hands are always hot. So I can be outside, put my hands in complete snow.
he's trying to freeze everything, and he's trying to just make it melt. That's really, really, really.
We're Fire
really,
and Ice from DC.
really,
Hey, there's a video game called Fire and Ice, my grandma's favorite video game. Shout
there's
out to
a
my
story of Fire and Ice too, but that's besides the point. This ain't Game of Thrones; it's a quest, right? It is, man.
I was thinking the poem by Robert Frost, but
yes, you don't.
I got an English major. I gotta use my English major somehow.
How am I uncultured? Because I didn't instantly think of that. I'm aware of it,
Bro,
asshole.
I was being funny. Stop
Do you have a
getting.
question? Do you have a question, Hardaway?
I do. Did you ever think that you're going to spend an hour and a half talking to some MCs rather than an hour that you scheduled yourself for?
Pretty much every podcast or interview I've done has gone long simply because I tend to ramble. So I pretty much knew it would go longer.
Okay,
Is that
all
why
right,
you
all right,
said?
all right.
Because
Is that why you said only an hour? Because you were trying to make sure I kept it to that.
I mean, I tend to ramble a lot, so
I'm not mad at you. I do too.
Firstly,
I'm really curious about the whole. Hold on, I'm really curious about the whole Last Ronin and stuff like that, because I remember when I was younger, they already had that storyline. So I'm curious of what they did, like what changed and so on and so forth and whatnot. Because
you haven't read it?
Not yet.
There's I don't want to give a spoiler.
Yeah, that's one I definitely do need to pick up.
I don't want to give a spoiler.
I will say,
I think it was really well done. I think it's really well done. And my husband, who's even a bigger Turtles fan than I am, has read it like 4 times already.
Damn.
And I got him like the big hardcover, like the nice hardcover of it. And he's read it already like 4 times. And we'll be lying in bed and he'll be, we'll be reading.
Well, there you go.
There we go. My sound went out for a second. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah,
but I'll be like, you're reading it again? And he's like, yeah, because it's one of those things where you will get more bits every time you read it. And I think it was really well done, and it is definitely suggested reading, but I don't want to give any spoilers away.
Yeah, see, the main thing I've seen from it is the covers that Mike Ruth did, which are bloody phenomenal. Mike killed it. If you can check out Mike on 2 past episodes, because he's the only one that was like willing to deal with us twice apparently, but that's besides the point. Hopefully you will, Erica. But again, that's besides the point.
Hey, I did. I made the 5 Timers Club on comic books on Capes on the Couch. So
Oh, really? Well, maybe you'll have to make the first round table, and I'll actually have to schedule it properly. Because my life's actually calming down. Look, I got like things ain't so. There are no saw blades behind me anymore, ladies and gentlemen. The last time with that was for when Doug came on, but it was appropriate. The sick shit that man
Bro,
writes. Yeah, check out his interview. Yeah, but
this
whatever.
man scheduled the round table, and we're like, yeah, we're gonna have 6 artists and writers all at once conversing
Hey,
about what's
look,
going
look,
on.
look, Hardaway.
This man said the one time, not forgetting completely that we got like 4 members in the United States, 2 outside the United States, and we're all in different time zones and stuff like that. But he said 9 o'clock. And so everybody was like, all right, it's 9 o'clock. It's 6 o'clock our time. But they're like, where's everybody? And it was great.
You
But
know
we did
what?
want to get a really good episode though of Mike Ruth drawing
Yeah,
something
man.
really epic.
Yeah,
Y'all
you
gotta
can
watch
straight up.
that if
Yeah.
y'all want to see what he drew, because I ain't gonna tell you what he drew, but it was really awesome.
Very interesting to watch him just sit and draw while we're just sitting bullshitting, right? Because I would imagine that you couldn't sit and write while we're bullshitting just because your mind has to be on writing, and you'd be like, would you stop distracting me before I throw a fucking cup at you?
There are people that I see people online and they'll be like, oh, this is the playlist that I'm writing to. I have to write either with only instrumental music or in complete silence.
Whatever. Doug Wagner wrote fucking Plush listening to disco, and my brain at that is still like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you, right? But
I'd like to know what instrumentals you listen to while you write.
There's a website called premiumbeats.com that has stock music, and you can listen, and they're usually and they're created, the music is created to be looped, to be able to be looped, so it has a repetitious strings and stuff. And if you type in cinematic music, it'll have these like Avengers type kind of music, very heroic strings to the crescendo, that kind of thing. And it has those types of music. And so I'll type in that kind of thing. Somebody was telling me about a website called Brain.fm or something like that, and how they have like concentration music that you can listen to, that I was thinking about maybe looking into. But yeah, I need either instrumental music or silence to write, because what tends to happen is if I'm listening to something with lyrics, I tend to start listening to the lyrics versus just listening to the harmony and the music and the melody of it. I'll start paying attention to the lyrics.
Hold on, brother. Have you ever heard of lo-fi hip hop?
I've heard of lo-fi hip hop, but I haven't been listening to it as I write. But
all right, so lo-fi hip hop usually like a good 90% of it does not have any words.
Okay.
It is pure instrumental and whatnot, but it's like, think of mixing jazz and swing with a nice 808 tempo. So it's like, it's not even that fast. It's actually much slower and whatnot. It's very mellow. It's mainly used for studying music, actually.
I've seen things like when I go to like YouTube or something and it has the suggestions. I've seen stuff where it's like a static image and it says study music.
Yeah.
And stuff.
All I know is if this interview goes much longer, it's going to have to be split into 2 parts. I frankly don't care, because I have a 2-part question, right?
Okay.
All right. Firstly, I'm curious, Erica, if you could just pick an artist to work with, right, to write whatever was coming out your head, what would you want? And then, in the same milk, but flip it. If you could co-write with someone. Huh?
You said if you could pick an artist to write.
To draw, man, to draw whatever you wrote. My bad, I phrased that improperly. If you go, because of the next question, was stuck in my head at the same time, and I'm apparently trying to combine them.
I know.
So if you could pick an artist to work with as far as for whatever you were writing, who would you want to work with? And then if you could pick a writer to collab with on a story, like you got anybody on your wish list where you're just like that one there?
Well, I mean, there are artists that I've worked with on covers.
No, don't.
So you're saying
and
artists to work with in sequentials, in interiors.
Yeah, like an artist to like if you were writing a story and you could just grab someone out the air as long as they ain't dead, because we ain't pulling angels or demons or nothing like that. And then in the same regard with a writer.
I would love to work with Adriana Mello. I would love to work with Natasha Alterici. I've worked with both of them doing covers. I would say Liana Kangas, but we already did a short together. They and I did a short together for 2000 AD, but I'd love to, and we did a short for Image Comics. But I'd love to work with them again. I'm trying to think. I've been immensely lucky in the artists that I've gotten to work with. I did a Moon Knight short earlier this year, and David Lopez drew it, of all people. You know, so I've been immensely lucky. That I co-wrote a book called Bylines and Blood at Aftershock with Van Jensen, and Anike was our artist, and she just did such beautiful work. Who would I like? I would love to work with Joelle Jones. We were in the DC Comics New Talent Showcase together. We were both in that class, the pilot program with Scott Snyder. And I really loved the work that she did. So I would love to work with her either writing or drawing. I'm trying to think who else.
Yeah, I asked for one, Erica. You've listed like...
Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
I want to work with a lot of people. There are a lot of people that I really admire.
I completely understand.
Are immensely talented. And the way I look at making comics is it's basically like a you're making a club sandwich. Like every layer that you add to it needs to enhance the story. So if I come at something with what I think is a good script, I want an artist who's going to elevate it and make it even better. You want a colorist who's going to complement your artist but take it to the next level. You want a letterer who's going to be able to do really cool work with it. And then you want like your whole package to be just this nice, big, meaty thing where you take a bite and you just get a little bit of everything.
Have you ever had... Well, I'm curious.
There are so many artists and creators that I admire so much, and I'd love to work with so much.
Have you come into a situation in your time in the industry where you've worked with someone that was very much against the ilk of what you just said, as far as they were like, "Look, it's my way," and shut up? And if so, how did you deal with it? Because I would be surprised if it hadn't happened.
It's funny. I've worked more with clients that are it's my way or shut up, especially on like work for hire jobs. And my whole thing is there's not a hill I'm going to die on. We're just making comics. We're not curing cancer. If it's a work for hire job, I will state my case for the reason why I want to do X, Y, and Z versus what they want me to do. If I get pushback more than twice, then I'm like, fine, I'll do it your way. I'm not going to die on this hill. I would consider myself a pretty decent judge of character, so I wouldn't go into a situation, a collaboration with someone that I didn't think would be willing to compromise, and that I wouldn't be willing to compromise with. So, I mean, I try to avoid that situation, by, talking to them, seeing how our personalities mesh, seeing how we gel together, versus saying, let's do something, and then it turns into like, it turns into mud, and I don't want that. And I don't think anybody really wants that. I mean, you want to bring your best work forward to begin with. But yeah, I pretty much avoid that. But I have gotten that, you know, I have gotten the my way or the highway from work for hire clients. And that's when it's just kind of like, all right, fine, whatever. You're signing the checks.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah. I mean, if you're for work for hire, man. But I assume if it was something that was a personal project of yours, like you would probably end up feeling a little different.
Well, if it's a personal project, I always sit down and I say,
You're
let's
like, I'm
have a
not dealing with
conversation
a
about that.
dick.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I usually say, let's have a conversation about it. This is where I think we should go. You think we should go here. Let's talk about why, and let's talk about, can we find a middle ground? You know, to me, the paramount, the number one thing that you have to do in a story is it has to be in service to the story. So if somebody turns around and says, I want to do, you know, if I wrote on a page 5 panels and they want to do 6 panels, okay, sure. If you think it needs an extra panel, fine. If they want to take the story in a completely other direction, then we need to sit down and have a conversation and be like, why is it that you think that this character would or would not do this? And let's have a conversation about it. Because a lot of times, what's going to make the story better? I try very, very hard, and this is, I mean, you're creators, you're artists, you understand. It's rough sometimes to leave your ego at the door, but you have to, especially in a collaborative medium like comics. You have to leave your ego at the door, and you have to do whatever is going to be in service for the story.
I think that's and I mean, I do my damnedest too, but as hip hop artists, you find that a lot of motherfuckers, the first thing they put through the door is their ego. You know, but again,
and it happens in comics too, and it happens in comics all the time. I mean, there are divas in any genre. There's the diva in the office kind of thing. You know, there's divas everywhere always. And comics by no means, and I'm sure there are plenty of times that I've been my own bit of a bitch about things, but when I am cognizant of it, I do my best to say what's going to make the best story. Because for me, it's not about, well, 3 of my ideas got thrown in the story, but 5 of yours got thrown in the story. That's not what it's about. It's about pulling your weight, but whatever it is that is going to take the story to the next level. It's going to elevate the story and make the story the best story that it can be.
Have you ever unintentionally ran someone off?
What, like somebody off or turn somebody off so much that they'd never want to work with me? I'm sure.
All right. I only say that because look, like your favorite word, motherfucker. 2 minutes. That motherfucker didn't last to the goddamn day just because of the word motherfucker. Don't call yourself a bad kid. You can't be taking the fucking, like me being like, yo, motherfucker, fuck off. Like, you fucking serious?
There are people that I can be very caustic. I can also be very honest. And I was always taught, my nono always said, my grandfather always said, if you were being honest, it's not nice or mean. It's not right or wrong. It's honest. So there are people that have disliked my honesty.
Damn, I like that.
Said, I'm never going to work with her. But I mean, and a lot of it comes down to ego. Like, I used to teach at the Kubert School, and I would do critiques of the students. And some of them, and I remember one student in particular got very upset at a critique that I gave them. And they said, well, this got, I think it was like 38 likes on Instagram. And I said, it doesn't matter how many likes it got on Instagram. Like that is completely inconsequential. I'm sitting here and telling you why this image doesn't work. Okay. And you don't know who's liking your work on Instagram. And you know, that's completely, you know, that's false praise to a certain extent. And as much as I love supporting people, I do think that there is this whole thing, especially on social media, this whole toxic positivity thing, where you will tell somebody that it is amazing when it may be good, but it can always be improved. And so my whole thing is I try to, you know, because I don't want to come off as a negative person. I don't want to come off as like shitting in anybody's cornflakes. My whole thing is, if you can't say something nice, don't say it at all. If they ask you specifically and say, Erica, can you give me specifically a crit? Then you can turn around and give your opinion and say, I think this composition is nice, but maybe if you did it like this, or this looks good, but your anatomy is a little off. Or, you know, I get what you were trying to do with the colors, but there's a lot of really sort of clashing colors here with the palette, versus somebody just putting something up and me seeing it in my timeline. If I just see it in my timeline, unless I really like it, I don't really comment on it, because I'll find something to, and it's not like I'm here to shit on anybody. It's because I think everybody can always improve no matter what. And not everybody can take that.
And look, that's like, I have no problem as an artist. Like, if you listen to my music and you want to critique something about it, please tell me so I can better myself in regards to that. Because I fully agree that there's nobody in any art style that is perfect. You know what I mean? There's always room for improvement. I don't give a shit. If you've come to the point where you don't think there is, I don't know what to tell you, except you're really fucking egotistical. But can I say it's funny?
But that's the thing, is a lot of people, because we're creating these things, it's not just something that you make. It's something that has a piece of your soul. It's like, you think about it in terms of Harry Potter. Everything you create is like a Horcrux.
Yeah.
It has a bit of in it. And so any type of criticism can be taken insanely personally. And there are times that I've gotten critiques from editors, and I've like wanted to flip the table and been like, screw this is bullshit, blah, blah, whatever, and gotten really, really pissed. And then I take a moment and I stop and I take a step back and I have my tantrum, because we all have tantrums in one way or another. And I take a step back and then I reread the email and I go, they really had a point here. This I don't agree so much, but yeah, that's not the huge change that I thought it was. That wasn't the catastrophic change that I thought they were asking for. Yeah, that's an easy change. Yeah, that's an easy fix. Yeah, I can do that. Let's have a discussion on this. But the immediate emotion is this defensive. How dare you, criticize what I worked so hard on. And I'm trying very, very hard not to have that immediate defensive posture. You're not being attacked, and I think that's like, and I think that's the thing. I think we all sort of feel like, especially over the last, going on 3 years, we all sort of feel like we're being attacked from one angle or another.
There's
so I
always
try
a new
very
hope.
hard not to be like that.
There's always a new hope somewhere. All right. Because out of all those films, why A New Hope? I'm curious. We've had Star Wars answer as the favorite film a couple different times. I think both Jedi and Empire, respectively. But this is the first time anyone's answered the original Star Wars film.
Okay, so I was born in June 1977. My mother was 8.5 months pregnant with me when she took my older brother to Star Wars, to the original. I don't believe it said A New Hope the first time it came out in theaters. I believe when they re-released it in theaters is when they actually changed it. And it said episode 6, episode 4, A New Hope.
Yeah.
I have a very vivid memory of standing online around the movie theater because the line was that long for Empire Strikes Back. And The story goes because I remember being on the other side of the movie theater by the dumpsters, and there was a basketball hoop that was like literally drilled into the side of the movie theater. And as a little kid, I was like so confused. Like, why would you have a basketball hoop next to a dumpster? Now I know it's like you're on break, you shoot some hoops. But back then I was just so confused by that. But my mom sat down with us and said, okay, we're going to go see this movie. It's Star Wars. And we had seen it already on CBS, because what CBS was doing was they were basically playing the original Star Wars prior to Empire Strikes Back coming out, which was brilliant in terms of marketing. Because anybody who hadn't seen A New Hope could watch it on TV. And it was, they had the Sunday night movie. So after the Muppet Show, you would watch, it's the way it was. And we were standing in line at the movie theater to watch Empire, and my brother was teasing my sister and I, and he was saying I was the only one who got to see the first one in the movie theaters, like he's like all big shit and everything. And my sister, who's also older than me, said to my mom, well, why didn't I see it? And my mom said, oh, well, you were just a baby at the time. And I said, well, where was I? And she goes, oh, you were, I was pregnant with you. You were in mommy's belly. Like, that's how you explain to kids, pregnancy. You were in mommy's belly. You were in mommy's belly. So I said, oh, well, then I saw it. And everybody's confused. And I said, I saw it through mom's belly button. So, like, that was my little, like, zinger for seeing A New Hope. And so when people say, oh, you never saw A New Hope in the theater, I was like, I was there. If my mother went into labor, I was viable. She was 8.5 months pregnant with me, and I was 2 weeks late. So I was overbaked. So, yeah,
hey, me too.
So at this point, I'm like, yeah, I was there. So, to me, that was literally my first cinematic experience. They put headphones on your belly when you're pregnant. Yeah. I'm sure I was hearing John Williams' score.
This is legit.
Muffled by amniotic fluid.
I don't know if you could have given a better answer for that period. I'm out of questions. I only got one more thing to do, Hardaway. And you know what it is, and it's both great and terrible for Erica all at the same time.
Surprise.
Runaway.
Plot twist.
I don't even know.
But it's some M. Night. But it's an M. Night, but it's a good one, right? Firstly, Erica, it's been a pleasure. It has, and I appreciate you for coming through and joining us on this quest we've started over here. All right. For everyone out there, click the links in the description, right? Now, if you've enjoyed this interview, well, actually, hold on. See? You about let me fuck up.
John.
You about let me. No, hey. You about let me fuck up, Hardaway. Before we go, Erica, can I just get you to say, hey, this is Erica Schultz. Make sure you're checking out the questionnaire. Schultz. How am I going to fuck it up at the end of the interview? Erica Schultz.
Can I say this is Erica Schwartz?
I don't give a shit. You totally can. I'm fine. Run with it.
This is Erica Schwartz, and may the Schwartz be with you.
And can you just add, like, make sure you're checking out the questionnaire, or you just say fuck me. I'm gonna have this cut so many different people. You know what? Say something in regards to the questionnaire if you want to listen to it, if you're listening to it. And I'm going to cut some crazy shit together. I got so much editing I need to fucking do.
You're going to Frankenbite all of it. Okay. Hi, I'm Erica Schultz, and you're listening to the questionnaire. So whether it's on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, keep listening, because Hardaway and the Unknown Factor are going to fuck your shit up.
Yeah.
That was lovely. That was lovely. Look, and check it out. Make sure you check out all the links in the descriptions. We'll get you to all kind of places so you can make sure and look more in depth and get some stuff from Erica. You know what I mean? Right now, I want to say though, if you've enjoyed this interview, which is totally
I
going to
need
be the
Jimmy
second
John.
2-part, it's going to be 2 parts. I'm gonna say that right now. You share with Doug Wagner the fact that you both got 2-part fucking episodes, because I'm like, Jesus, I ain't posting a 2-hour interview, right? But if you have enjoyed it, and you know, if you just watch this one, or if you watch both of them, whatever, right? I want you to either one, send Erica some veggie sushi, which sounds fucking terrible, right?
It's fire. It's
Or an
fire.
or an easy bake oven, right? Now,
And me, Jimmy John. Like y'all don't know
y'all ain't getting
BLT Jimmy
shit
John.
Hardaway. Like
Jimmy
they ain't
John's
sending us.
BLTs are good. You know, the only time I ever had Jimmy John's, because I can't find them in Jersey, was when I would go to Baltimore Comic Con, because there's the Jimmy John's literally like across the street from the convention center.
Wait, you're in Jersey? Have you ever been to the Secret Stash?
Once or twice.
I'm
What's
jealous,
that?
man. Shout out to Andrew
Guilty.
Tom. Huh?
It's a comic shop.
Oh, well, that's the place that needs to be in my to-go list.
I guess it's just like, well, we also just had Andrew Thomas on, who is working on the Secret Stash press that Kevin Smith just started up at Dark Horse. So, you know, and I've been a fan of Kevin Smith for a long time, and as a comic book fan, I can't lie, man, it's kind of on my bucket list. Erica, I'm a little jealous. So you know what? If you haven't enjoyed this interview, right, and Erica for some reason annoyed you, what I want you to do is send her a Kraken that's mustard colored, smelling of curry.
Or Peeps. I hate Peeps. Peeps are like a kryptonite to me too.
Hey, man, that was, I mean, curry and Peeps, that sounds even worse. Fuck it. She made it worse for herself. Make it smell like curry and Peeps. Jesus Christ.
I have a funny story about Peeps. When I was in college, my senior year in college, I was like, oh, I'm a senior. I'm top shit, whatever. So my friends who lived in the apartment right below me, they had, somebody had gotten Peeps for like Easter or whatever. So like, you know, your mom would send you like, you know, the care package, whatever.
Yeah.
So they put a Peep in a glass, and then they filled the glass with vodka. And this glass sat on their dining room table, not uncovered, completely uncovered, for about a week. Okay? And the Peep swelled to like pushed up against the side of the glass, almost like the Peep was trying to like escape from this glass of vodka. And then we had a party one weekend, and some freshman comes in, and we paid him $10 to eat the Peep. He ate the Peep, and he immediately ran out and yacked in our bushes. So Peeps are gross, whether they're soaked in vodka or not.
That's deliciously evil.
I was a senior in college. I thought I was hot shit. I was like, oh, let's get some dumb freshmen to eat the Peep.
that is just
right.
Piss and vinegar, Erica. That's what that is.
For one, that's
we didn't pee in the cup. We didn't pee in the glass. It wasn't piss and vinegar in the glass. It was vodka. But you know, it was cheap ass vodka because we were college students and we had no money.
Yeah.
So it was probably pop-off from the plastic bottle. You know.
Kamchatka.
You know what? After that story, send her a Kraken regardless. I don't care if you like the interview or not.
No, don't do that, because I'm gonna tell you right now. To me, that's a friendly prank. That's friendly hazing. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, you puked and whatnot, but it didn't kill you, and you're not really harmed. It didn't taste great. You know what I'm saying? $10. And you got paid for it too. So like, this is all fair. There's certain hazings where I'm like, no, that's horrible. That is absolutely horrid. You know what I'm saying? But I honestly enjoyed the memories of being in high school and a part of the wrestling team and going through that hazing phase and whatnot, just like everybody else did before me. Did it go overboard at times? Yes, and we all reprimanded the person who went overboard. You know what I'm saying? It's like, look, man, you can't be doing all that. But little pranks, little things are just like, because for one, men are brutal. We talk so much shit to each other, it's nasty. Um, so we did all that stuff and whatnot. And like, I have some of the fondest memories of that time of me just sitting there talking shit while all the seniors and juniors are like trying to pick me up to throw me in the pool or something and whatnot. And I'm like trying to fight them off, just running my mouth the whole entire time. Like, that shit's hilarious to me because I remember when that happened to me and I'm sitting here trying my damnedest to fight them off and I took two with me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
you didn't go down alone.
Yeah, I didn't go down alone. So it's all good times. It's all fun and stuff like that. So to me, that's funny and fun. That's not cracking worthy. It is a mustard colored shirt for Christmas worthy. But
but can I say this is honestly the first time
you're on a mustard colored shirt, so it's like you want it, but you don't want it.
But all I know,
like I hate the ketchup and mustard Daredevil. I know that's his original, and I know the whole thing was the idea was that he made the costume out of his dad's robe, his dad's boxing robe, Battling Jack. Like, I get that, but I just think aesthetically it was just awful. And I like how in She-Hulk she made fun of him for it. She's like, this is an aesthetic kind of thing. So yeah. And as somebody who wrote an issue of Daredevil, I can say that. So
fair enough. Now, have you ever you remember the old school 90s X-Men cartoon?
Yeah, X-Men 92.
The glory days, all right?
Yeah,
have you ever seen the abridged version?
My favorite character from that is Morph is all I have to say, and I love what they did with him in the Age of Apocalypse. Yeah.
And then he became canon. What do you mean the abridged version?
All right, so on YouTube, go look up just mind you, if you have any young children in the general vicinity, do not do this. All right. But
is this like the Les Fernhoel stuff?
I don't know who did it. I know it's just a bunch of ghetto people did it. Let's put it like that. When I was in high, all right, they have the Juggernaut, and the Juggernaut always says it's the Juggernaut, bitch, and that's where they actually got it from in the new
movie. Yeah,
they got it from the abridged version, from that animation because the Juggernaut came in. It's like, I'm the Juggernaut, bitch, and I got me like horrible shit comes out the Juggernaut's mouth. All right, horrible. But one of my favorite things that did come out of that whole entire thing was ketchup, mustard, zap your dumb ass. And it was when what was it, the Gladiator and
Gladiator fought Rogue a lot.
Yes, but it was when the Gladiator threw the Juggernaut across the lake. It was that episode. And when all the futuristic people were starting to come in, you got to see all this thing. Well, the dude with the yellow
it's the Shi'ar, bro. It's the Shi'ar.
Yeah, it was the Shi'ar Imperial Guard, and the Gladiator was the strongest of the Shi'ar Imperial Guard. Yeah, it was with the Lilandra.
Well, one of the members had this yellow staff, and he saw the Juggernaut. And he said, ketchup, pointed at the Juggernaut, lifted his staff, said mustard, and then zapped him and said, zap your dumb ass. And by far, that is one of the funniest abridged things that I've ever seen in my life, because if you watch the whole thing, it's hilarious.
Is that the thing where they did, oh God, where like Rogue comes in and she's like, quit your fussing and your feuding.
Yes.
Okay, so I've seen that, and he's and Wolverine gets really pissed off at Gambit, and he screams, "Go masturbate into a sock."
Yes.
Okay, yes. So I have seen that before then, or at least I've seen some of that.
Some of it, because like
wait. Everybody's. Did you just say Wolverine tells Gambit to go masturbate in a sock?
Sock, yes. Oh no, dude. When I say this is some of the most brutal shit coming out of these X-Men, out of the X-Men. And here's the funniest part. The way they do it, it feels like that's what they would say to each other if they didn't have the comic book code telling them not to.
And Rogue and Gambit get into an argument because Gambit put Rogue's sex tape online.
Why couldn't y'all just let me in this
Jean
fucking
Grey
interview
comes
10
into
minutes
like
ago?
Jean Grey comes into every situation and goes, turtle power. Yeah. I've seen it. Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
Hey, Hardaway, will you send me a link to that?
Yes, I will. Because you have to see it, bro. It's so good. It is so horribly good. You want to talk about the most toxic, masculine, misogynistic motherfucker ever? Is that version of the Juggernaut? Like, all other versions of the Juggernaut are far more redeemable than that one.
In that universe, the 445-36 universe or whatever.
Yeah.
Not the 616.
Not the 616. No, it was woo. That shit was so bad and so funny at the same time. Like, see, what's horrible is that some of the jokes would not sit well in this day and age of the 2020.
Well, I mean, like, that's the thing is, like, you laugh because it's almost like a nervous laughter, and you're like, you laugh because it's like taboo to laugh at it, and then you have to like check yourself and be like, oh shit, I laughed at that. I'm a horrible person, kind of thing.
Look, I realized I was a horrible person when this comedian, Jesselneck dude, said one of the most horrible jokes, but it was so freaking funny. He said he had he saw a baby in the car and he wanted to help the baby. So he threw a rock at the window to try to help the baby, but the window was down. So he messed that baby's weekend all up. And I laughed so hard at that. I realized, I was like, look,
you shut up, man, because you're making us both giggle right now and showing how horrible everyone in the room is. So
I am, and he is too. So it's like,
yeah.
It was like, look,
I realized how horrible I was.
God, Jesus, Buddha.
Look, I'm the first person to say that if I see a baby on board sticker in somebody's car, that's a target.
All right,
hey,
yo, I got nothing more to say.
I just lost everybody, and I wrote a children's book. I just lost.
Oh no, but the police will tell you that shit too, so it's not wrong.
You know what? To hell with that. This is becoming way more than I wanted to edit, and it has been a pleasure. But how in the hell is it that the guest interrupted my outro? Hardaway, that's never happened. You know that, right?
Hey, we also never had a guest do the intro for her own episode, like for their own episode. You know what I'm saying?
Two first. You came in like, I'm going on a fucking quest with my piss and my motherfucking vinegar. Shit sticks.
Also, you are our third female guest. So if you have any other female artists, writers.
Hey, fool, did you say third? Because she's only our second female guest.
No, Shereen Morishita, and then you
Oh,
have Amy.
goddamn, bro. My bad. She is our third. You ever just do so much shit you forget what the fuck you did yesterday?
Yeah.
All right, so, yeah. You feel me on that, Erica. Like, I'm like, oh, yeah. Fuck, we have had 3 female creators.
I don't even know what day it is.
The third? But that's only because I had to write it a lot at work today.
I was going to say, I'm looking at my calendar. Yes, it's the third.
Yeah, that's the only reason I know. I had to write it a lot at work today. Yeah. If it wasn't for that, I'd have no fucking idea. Yeah.
Oh,
Hardaway, you got any more questions?
Look, man, I can ask questions all day. We can converse for a long time.
I know.
You can't keep doing your job for you.
Yeah, I can't. I really can't keep doing your job for you, bro. You gotta ask
questions. Look, if this fool would just cut TikToks, he'd be like, you got no idea, mother. You want to get into the fact he's supposed to cut the TikToks. I edit these goddamn whole fucking interviews. This motherfucker. How many TikToks? How many TikToks? How many TikToks? How many TikToks he made, Hardaway? How many TikToks he made, Hardaway? How many TikToks total have you made?
I have made 30, roughly.
Okay, that's 9 more than I. That's 9 more than I've edited entire fucking episodes, Erica. This motherfucker needs to make more goddamn TikToks. This shit's already edited down. All he's got to go through is go through and find the fucking moment. Are you shitting me?
Look,
But oh my god, this is a lot to edit. Hardaway.
Now he wants to run his mouth. Did you see how he would ask one question and it turned into 50? And he wants me to pull a section out of where he asks a question or I ask a question and then we get an answer. You know what I'm saying? And I'm supposed to turn that into a TikTok. Well, how am I supposed to turn that into a TikTok?
I told you just cut it and we'll use it for short clips of YouTube as well.
All I know is you're not going to be able to turn a TikTok into any of my answers because it's more than a minute, 8 seconds between the question and the answer. And that's my fault. Because I ramble.
Now. So 6 to 3 minutes now.
Okay.
So I can do some pretty good TikTok. I can upload up to 10 minutes. Now, if I was just doing a crazy little
hey, look, if they want to know how fucking TikTok works, they can go goddamn Google it, man. I mean, unless you want to know, unless you want an explanation on how TikTok works.
I was talking to her. I wasn't talking to
like, if you just need it, if you just need it.
I'm too old for TikTok, so.
All right, see, so she don't give a shit either, Hardaway.
Because there's this old ass man from Ireland that be making me cry because he be giving motivational speeches and shit like that. He a good man.
He's probably drunk.
You just need to go on there with your piss and vinegar, and don't worry about my state of mind during this interview.
Either way, he's a blessing to this world and whatnot. He got that calming feeling like Mr.
Bob Ross.
Yeah, Bob Ross, Mr. Rogers, that kind of feeling. Oh my God, have you ever heard of the Craftsman? On YouTube, look up the Craftsman. All right, I'm gonna send him I'm gonna email you the link and whatnot because the Craftsman
why the fuck can't you email her like I'm the only motherfucker that's got access to the goddamn email account or some shit? Like I'm gonna fucking.
I could do it. That's why I said
I know you can do it. You should do it more now. Hardaway. Hey, motherfucker! You send her the goddamn link later. Are you gonna make some more goddamn TikToks?
After you send me my red skull pin?
No. When there's 60, I'll send you that red skull pin.
She shut up. Don't do me like that.
Bro,
it was very great and awesome. I hope you had an amazing time. Tell your friends about us.
Thank you very much for having me.
And it was a pleasure, Erica. I do want to hopefully bring you back one day and we'll have a bunch of motherfuckers and we'll just see this go way more sideways than it already does because it's a quest.
Once X23 and Hollow Zebra out, we can come back and I can actually talk about things.
I mean,
and make sure, look, like I said, there'll be links in the descriptions. As far as, wherever you're at, there'll be a link. I don't care where you're at. There'll be a link to check out as far as so you can look at.
I like the Kamaro beads from Black Panther. Those are cool.
Yeah, they're magnets.
Are they the Kamoyo beads though?
No, they're magnets that came from my ex's friend sells a bunch of crystals and whatnot. So I couldn't honestly tell you what these are or where they came from.
But they look like the ones. They look like the Kamoyo beads from the first Black Panther movie.
Yep, I've had them for a pretty long time and whatnot. But the issue is if you try to actually wear it like a bracelet, it just rolls off.
It breaks apart. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not that cool, but it is kind of cool because you could do cool. You know what?
You tell people that you had them before the movie.
Yeah, look, I had them.
Ryan Coogler took the idea from you.
That's right. That's right. They hit me up. I got the email and everything to prove it. I just got to hit up Inkscape and Photoshop, and we can get it all cracking.
There's part of me that's loving where this is going so much. I'm just not sure where I should say, have a good night, y'all. Because I technically would have normally done that like 20 minutes ago, but it's just rolled so well that I'm like, this has been fucking entertaining. We're just going to keep rolling with it. And I'm like, I wonder when Eric is going to be like, are these motherfuckers going to let me off this goddamn fucking call?
Look, I'm trying to be I'm trying to be the host that, you know, doesn't be like, I'm fucking going home, because I am home. So
That's why. Look.
I already got my cat already came up and bugged me a few times. That's why I was like leaning down to just be like, it's okay, buddy.
I understand.
What? I have my fat boy mascot.
Hey, yo, we can always we welcome cats on the podcast. We do. There's been, I think, 3, maybe 4 at this point.
My cat Jasper and Monarchy pop up all the time.
Yeah. He's a lovely big boy. I don't know if you can see him in the corner over there. Sleeping.
If that's as big as I think it is, looking at that, I need to. You making me want to throw this.
He's a 17 pounder.
Yeah.
He's a big boy. Well, he's technically 16.9. He was at the vet this past week, and he's technically 16.9. So she said he's going in the right direction, going down. About 8 months ago, he was 18 pounds. So we're working very, very hard, and he does not like his diet at all. So, you okay? You look like you froze for a second.
Really, really big. No, I did, but it was actually physically in the moment, not through the Skype. But that's just an incredibly large cat. Like
yeah, he's a big boy.
I look. I was just taking a dramatic pause.
He's got like a grapefruit head.
So does my cat Jasper. That's what I was looking for him. I was like, where did you go, dude? My cat follows me like a dog. If my daughter's sleeping right now,
this turned into the quest for cats.
Look, if my daughter wasn't sleeping, I could sit there and just yell his name and he'll come. All right. I walk. I don't put him on a leash or anything like that because I got a cat leash and he hates it. His sister loves it, but he hates it. We'll walk to the river, which is about a block away. No problem.
I thought you were gonna say you're gonna walk to the river and drown him. I was about to be like, you're awful. You're terrible. No.
Jesus. No, my cats, they're indoor-outdoor cats. So Jasper, like I said, he's like a dog. If I say, come, Jasper, he'll follow me all around, like all around town and whatnot. And then if I tell him to go home, he'll just turn around and go home. Like this cat listens like a dog.
Bro, she took that so dark. Like
I know.
Look.
Look, I'm a storyteller, man. I tell stories.
Trust me, I get it.
Look, I would have expected that answer from Doug, not you. What the fuck, Erica? Like, if this movie.
Speaking of which,
like,
have you ever heard of Bloodshot?
The Valiant book?
Yeah, yeah. The Valiant book.
She looked at you like you was stupid asking her that question.
I haven't seen the movie because the movie looks kind of dumb, but yes.
You know, I heard there's a YouTube movie though that they did a while ago before that.
Yes, it's Ninjak really versus the Valiant Universe, and yes, Ninjak will won. He will solo the entire universe personally.
They did a crossover series called The Valiant that Paulo Rivera did the art for. That was actually really, really good.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
They had Harbinger. They had all the Psyots. They had Bloodshot. They did, yeah.
Eternal Warrior was in there. Yeah, it's an Exo Man Award. Like Valiant is my favorite one now. But I just thought because you're right, X-23, I thought it'd be kind of cool and interesting to see what you would do with Bloodshot.
Well, I mean, he's been retconned a few times too.
Yeah, he went from being one of the most ridiculously powerful things ever to he's a decent super soldier now. Like he's a decent, average super soldier. But when he was first created, there was nothing you could do against that man that'll beat him.
Well, that's the thing is he was too powerful. He had like no weaknesses, so there was difficult way to sort of try to weave a story around it. I'd have to give Bloodshot a think. I'd have to think about it.
Let me see if I can give you something else to think, and then I swear to God, I'm ending this interview before it's 3 fucking parts, because that's what's going to end up happening when we all end up carrying. This is just a bunch of nerds chatting it out, just so everyone knows that's tuning in, right? If you could retcon a character from one of the major two, who you taking?
That deep breath. That deep breath.
I would, you know what? There are a lot of characters that, especially women characters, that have the typical, worked as a prostitute or was, abused as a child or, that kind of thing. I would probably maybe take Hellcat, and I would retcon her backstory. The whole like abused mom and and all that other stuff. And I would try and make Patsy. I would take Patsy Walker in a different direction. I mean, there's a lot of characters that I would do. I mean, with X-23, I mean, there was a whole thing where she was like working as a child prostitute, which was just gross and everything. When she first started out because she was originally in the X-Men Evolution, like Morph, she was created for the cartoon series. And then they brought her in, I think it was Joe Quesada did a story called Nyx, NYX. And it was with Caden and a few other characters and stuff. And yeah, she was working as a child prostitute for this pimp named Zebra. It was this whole like gross thing. So I would love to, retcon that out. She was a child assassin. That's bad enough. We don't have to have the whole child prostitution thing. But yeah, I think I could do something fun with Patsy Walker, maybe.
Have you ever seen Kite?
I haven't.
Watch the anime Kite. And and that's how you do that kind of twist.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's how you do that kind of twist, right? Because most people they do that whole little child thing too much and whatnot. That's why I say if anybody ever wanted to like be like, I want to put this horrible thing into my character's life, watch Kite. Learn from Kite. Do it that way, because it wasn't even a very long ordeal. It was a very short thing. It was the first 5 minutes that you got to get the feel of it and whatnot. But it was more used as a ticket so she can get closer to her mark.
Okay.
Rather than that was her job, that was one of the things she used as a ticket to get to her mark.
Okay.
So it's like...
Well, it gives her the agency in it.
Oh my God, Hardaway, firstly, stop making me think of questions that are going to carry this goddamn interview on fucking 15, 20 more fucking minutes, because I literally just did, and I was starting to go, and then my brain went, yo, this is already a whole hell of a lot to edit, and when it gets to the fucking 2-hour mark, my computer don't like to push it out, because it's like, Jesus Christ, dude, what are you doing to me? Well,
we're already at the 2 hour 30 minute mark.
I am Erica, why are you trying to hurt my head? Don't you know that that's this asshole?
Okay, job? This is your how about this? This is your last question. And then I gotta go pee. So this is
and that's the other thing I've honestly been thinking for a minute is I gotta take a leak.
So this is your last question, and then we can all take a pee break and go to bed.
You know what? That's fine. I forgot it. Bliss.
I got the last question then.
Son of a bitch. Hey, look, no.
Do you think bidets in America should be made like the norm?
Bidets are weird.
Thank you. I agree.
I think they're really weird. The first time I ever saw a bidet was in a fancy hotel suite. I was at the hotel for a dance competition, and the dance teacher got a suite, and we were in the room for something, and I was like, why are there 2 toilets in the room? And I was really confused by what the bidet was. And I was like, how do you pee in that? Because, girls sit down when we pee. So I'm like, I don't get it. But yeah, and then when it was explained to me, I was like, that's weird. It's like a water fountain for your hoo-ha.
But can I just say, I find it odd that people find that to be such an odd thing. Not that I've ever used a bidet, but I mean, it would be you washing your butt every time after you know, defecated, which would be way more sanitary. I don't see why people find the
but it's also
sanitation.
2 toilets that you have to clean.
No, man, you get one of them bidet hookup things. Don't you know they got, like, you ain't got to have a bidet. Go watch. Yeah, they got things you can hook up to your toilet that'll squirt your butt, all right, and they'll clean it after you've done your business. All right, this is getting way. Look,
Okay.
they ain't a sponsor.
I-
All right, or otherwise
Now
I'd
this is
mention
a
them.
good place to stop the interview
Yeah,
because I really
everybody,
gotta pee.
look,
And
you know
I'm
what?
gonna be thinking about
Everyone
weird
have a good night. I am
hookup
the unknown
things to
factor.
my toilet that's gonna like shoot water up me to clean me out.
I got
Or,
Eric just told. I got Eric over here worried that she's gonna get bidet out of nowhere.
I'm just worried about some like fucking sewer chicken coming up and like biting me in the ass.
No, it's
I-
like hooked up to your
There's
wall.
already chicken
Look,
in the woods.
you know
Those
what?
dudes-
We ain't getting into it anymore because everyone has to
Sewer
take
chickens,
a
man.
leak.
They're real
Yeah.
sewer chickens. Probably in Florida.
Oh my God! Look, see, that's just scary as hell. They are.
That's my next comic, the sewer chicken.
Have
Oh
a
my
good night,
God!
y'all.
Yes. Peace.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for listening. Buy the books, read comics, be kind to each other, and all that fun stuff. Get your vaccination. I gotta go pee.
And get your
Peace out.
comic on and like, subscribe, and hit that bell. Have a good night.
Peace out.
No, you.